right. I am looking forward to diving into week 7, Dream Killers. And it was quite interesting that you started out with giving examples of how you managed your family, your large family, particularly your children. I can imagine someone wondering, how do you manage to keep an organized home with 6 children? Can you elaborate a bit on the system that you followed to get a household of 6 children out the door to an 8 a.m. church service on time?
Right, right. Well, I think first of all, I was raised in a family of 14 and my mother was very organized. Everything had a place and everything had to be in its place. That was just the way that it was. And we did not have a very large home. So everything was really tight in the house, but very clean and very organized. So I think part of that probably, the training that we had coming up probably had a lot to do with um, the way that I structured my own home. And I think it's important to understand that, first of all, we had days where after school we had to come home, change out of school clothes. It was just all this protocol, these rules. And, we couldn't, on the weekend, we were not allowed to go out and play until our Saturday morning chores were finished. We were able to watch cartoons, but we had to, television didn't come first. I was ironing at the age of 10 and I could iron clothes and cook and, everything I learned. I think I learned a lot of that from my mother. And then after I married and we had our children, I set up systems that worked for me. And I didn't do everything the same as my mom, but I think that part of the training helped me to come up with my own structure, whatever, I decided was good for our family. And so, in order to get to church on time with everybody dressed and ready, I put the children's clothes out the night before. They had their baths the night before. Our children went to bed. They were in bed by 8:30 at the latest every night, which gave me time for myself. And this is when they were younger, of course, but that bedtime ran a long time. They were not, they were never allowed to really be up hanging out late at night because it actually got into my personal time and their much needed rest. So they went to bed, had their baths, stories, if they were at that age. And then in the morning, and I would set the table the night before because we had 5 or 6 children at the time. So I would set the breakfast table the night before. And then in their younger years, in middle school years, I made homemade bread. So I would make the bread. If on a Saturday night, I probably would put it in the bread machine and have it ready in the morning. There were days when I actually made homemade bread by hand and would make more than one loaf. So it would go, more than a day. And the clothes were laid out. And in the morning, we just got them up. They got up in the morning. There was no, I don't want to get up. I don't want to go. So, well, I don't want to hear that. This is what we do. It's just what we do. They were trained at a very young age that on Sunday mornings we got up and went to church. And it's just no complaining was allowed because, you don't complain when you watch television. You don't complain when you want to go hang out with your friends. You don't complain when you want to go to the mall. So don't complain when you want to go to church. This was just sort of a thing that was just never allowed um, in our household. I'm not saying that they did not, but it was never allowed. So children will voice their opinion about, I'm tired, I don't feel like going. I would understand that because there would be days when I would be tired too, and I would just, I'm tired too. I understand that. So, but we do have, this is what we do.
Right.
And so it was all about preparing ahead of time, even dinner. I used a slow cooker a lot. And so there were things that if I had to do, cook meat, roast or whatever, I would cook it in the slow cooker. The meat would be ready, or put the meat in the oven early in the morning, or make it the night before. A lot of things were done. I did a lot of prep work ahead of time so that on Sundays the day was easy. And then as the children got older, there came a time on Sundays where I just didn't cook at all and it became a day of rest for me where because when you have littles running around or older teenagers running around it's just a lot of work. So I freed myself up for a time period where I just didn't cook on Sundays. And we would do, dinner. And we ate most of our meals together anyway, dinner. So whether it was Sunday or Saturday, we were eating together. Friday night was always our pizza and movie night. So that was already established. But on Sundays, to get these kids out of the house on time, I just did everything the night before. And when we came home from church, we just had a leisure day. I just think it's just like when you get ready to go to work. Most of us, when we get ready to go to work, not everybody, we try to have everything in our head, if not laid out, what we're going to wear, what jewelry we're going to wear, or at least it's in our head. You have an idea in order to, run out the door and make it to work on time. So I just applied the same, only took it a little farther with preparing the meals. And I did not, Sunday was not a day that I worked. So I wasn't trying to get up and do laundry or iron their clothes on Sunday morning or throw them in the dryer to get the wrinkles out. That I wasn't doing any of that. It literally was, everything was done the day before. All I had to do was get them up, give them breakfast. They put their clothes on or help if I needed to help the little ones, and then we're out the door. I am still that way. I don't have to stick to that even now. It's just me and my dog, but I still have a day where I do laundry. There are days that I don't work at all. There are days where I actually will do a deep clean. There's a day where midweek where I just go and touch things up. I have a schedule and it's just me. I don't have to have a schedule. I can do things whenever I want, however I want, unless God says something different. But literally, I have a schedule and it's just me because that works for me. I like having that schedule. Do I stick to it all the time? No. The majority of the time, yes. And because I do work from home, I have to have days that are set aside just for work and then days that are set aside just for cleaning or whatever else that it is, training, because my dog is in training. So I operate on a schedule and it's just me. I don't feel right. And I know how to flow. I know how to operate spontaneously, but knowing that on this day, I'm going to get the laundry taken care of and I'm done with that. I don't have to think about that. I don't have to look in my closet. Oh, is that white blouse clean? Nope, it's in there. It's in there and it's organized and it's in there with the rest of the white blouses together. Yeah.
Well, circling back to your title of Dream Killers, right? I think this needs to be highlighted because it's so important. What general advice do you have for people to keep their dreams alive despite the challenging life situations that may take place?
Advice for other people to keep their dream alive. Well, so a few podcasts back, we talked about how I encourage myself. So if you have a dream and you know it's your dream, then I always caution people about sharing their dream with other people so that they don't get the dream squashed or get their feelings, your personal feelings hurt. I think to keep your dream alive, I like looking at things that have to do with my dream. So if you're dreaming, I'm just going to use this as an example. If you're dreaming for a house and you want a type of house, or if you're dreaming for a car and you want a type of car, I'm a visionary, first of all. So it works for me. Some people, this might not work for you. You might have to do something else. If you're more audible, you might need to hear it more. So you could make a tape. And I've done this. I've actually made a recording where I'm saying specific things and I'll listen to me saying different things. So it's like me talking to me. And that works really well, especially if you don't have time. I do that with scriptures, especially if you don't have time to, if you're in the middle of something, you can play your recording. I have recordings of my own voice, me saying specific things to me. If I'm in a time where I'm trying to get, my weight in a specific place or learn scriptures, or if I have a vision for something, I'll use Audible, not Audible, literally me, where I'm on a tape recording and I'll play different things of me saying them to myself. You could also do vision boards. I've had those before, long before vision boards became vision boards. I mean, it became this great, everybody's making a vision board. I've had magazine clippings for years since I was a teen. I'll cut stuff out, clothes that I like, shoes that I like, but I'm a visionary. That's just what I do. But those things are really good. You know, you could slap them in a place where you are, if you're at your desk, you know, just have something to keep your vision alive. Write it down, write it on a piece of paper and look at it every day. If you can put it on your refrigerator. I just think that if you talk about your own dream and talk about your own dream to yourself, I mean, the only thing it's going to do is reinforce the idea of that dream in your own brain. It's just like when we memorize scriptures, or if we had to memorize something for school, the more you talk about it, the more you say it, the more it becomes alive to you. So I think don't look for other people to encourage you about your dream or your vision, because most people, if it's not, most people can't get with your vision. And I'm sure people can probably relate to this. You tell someone, I've got this great idea, or I have this great vision. It happens to me today. Some of the closest people to me, I can share with them an idea and they will respond, oh, or okay, yeah, you know. And what we are looking for, I don't do that. It's just not, I've learned, unless I have to share something and I'm not looking for somebody to affirm me in it. You know, if I need to share it, it's something I need to share, but I'm not looking for somebody to affirm me in it. So if it's something you have to share, if you're working with a team and you have an idea and you have to share it with the team, share it with the team. But if you're looking for them to affirm you, don't do that. Stay away from looking for other people to affirm an idea that you have, because it's your idea. And usually we want to tell someone, oh, guess what? I feel like God is telling me XYZ. And then you're looking for them to say, what? Really? Oh my God, that is so great. That is wonderful. I can do that with other people because I genuinely believe that if God gave you an idea, great, I'm all for it. You know, I can't change that idea. So I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to help you on and to pray with you in that. But most people cannot do that, because most people, if they are not in a place where their stuff is working for them and they have all these great ideas, they cannot promote, even in prayer, even in word. They cannot, certainly not in deed and getting involved, but they cannot come alongside of you and give you what you actually think you need. And I say think you need because you don't need it. You do not need you do not need someone else to affirm an idea that you have. What you need is to affirm yourself. What you need is to spend time with yourself, allowing you to become accustomed to this new idea, allowing yourself to be encouraged with the scriptures, and how God is there for you and how he's giving you these promises and he can help promote you. What you need is to build your own self up within your own space. But we don't take that time. We actually go look for other people to give it to us because we think we need that, but you really don't. People will squelch your dream, just squish it. You've seen people do that to children. Children will come up and they have all these wonderful ideas. You talk about a visionary children. Have you ever sit and watch them play? Their imaginations are all over the world, and they can tell someone else what they're doing or playing. Well, you know that no, that doesn't happen, or no, if you just stay out of it, because we crush children and their dreams. You could have a 8-year-old, a 9-year-old tell you, I want to be a doctor. And you could be the poorest family on the block. And because you don't have any money and you have no vision and you can't see that son who's raised in that poor house with you being a doctor because you don't have the money to send the child to school. You know that college is going to cost XYZ. I don't know. You'll tell that, well, have you thought about perhaps doing this? And it's way below that
Right.
doctor idea
Mhm.
or that lawyer idea, because your brain automatically associates the fact that this is your child. You're going to help that child. If you push that vision, you're going to have to come alongside of that child later on and make that thing happen. And the
Right.
mistake that we make in that is that, so we crush the dream for the child by trying to get the child to switch up instead of just saying, oh, well, that's a good idea. You know,
You can do it.
because I guarantee you most children change. They can want to be a doctor at 8, and at 12, they might want to be an attorney.
Yeah. Mhm.
I've seen it with my children.
Yeah.
And instead, we like to crush that dream, but that's only based on our fears. We get afraid that if we promote that, we're not going to be able to come through as parents for that child because we helped to promote that. When in actuality, it's not really, if we could just get into the scriptures and allow God, if God is giving your child a vision, don't take it away,
Right.
because he does speak to children. He speaks to children.
Yes.
They probably hear him more than we do, honestly. They might not know that it's him, but he speaks to children because they're open to hearing from him. We, on the other hand, shut everything down and we wonder, why am I not hearing from God? Why is he not talking? He is talking, you're not listening. So, in answering that question, encourage yourself.